The following is a high-five moment from highfivecasino.com.
I won! Yahoo!
Private, put down your phone. This is the Army.
Sarge, High Five Casino is a social casino. It's on your phone. Goes wherever you go. I win free spins, cash, prizes, free daily rewards, over 1,200 games. I won again!
Platoon, present cell phone. High Five.
High Five.
Casino.
Casino.
Win at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
High Five Casino.
The following is a high-five moment from highfivecasino.com.
Welcome to Burger Yippee. Would you like a hot apple pie today?
Yes, yeah, I won! Woohoo!
So that's a yes on the apple pie?
I just went big time playing High Five Casino on my phone. Real cash prizes, free daily rewards, over 1,200 games. Yeah!
So yes or no on the apple pie?
Whoa! I won again!
I'll take that as a yes. Drive around.
Have you had your high-five moment today? Only at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
High Five Casino.
I think the main way to make climate action happen is to just get comfortable with talking about the uncomfortable subject that it exists.
Yeah.
And not even try and fix it, but just like get through the first hurdle of just like bringing it up.
Yeah.
And so, and not in like a doom and gloom, we're all going to die. Like, you know, you can have nuance to the conversation, which is like, yeah, like, you know, how do you feel about it? No, that's a bad example.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was just like, when I finally started writing the script, I was like, for Not Today, I was like, well, if I can be the person who helps people who are struggling to articulate their anxieties, if this gives them the words that they were looking for through this script and through this play, then that will have been worth it.
You're listening to the Theatre Thoughts Podcast. My name's Justin, or you can call me Stin. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. If you're one of our many loyal listeners, welcome back. We are back with a new episode of the podcast, and this time we feature our first in-studio guest, the talented Ali Morgan. Ali brought her one-woman show, Not Today, to the Sydney Fringe Festival to stellar reviews and nominations. Ali sits down in our Powerhouse Museum studio to discuss climate change activism, how lockdown forced her to be creative, and how this eventually led her to writing her own one-woman show. We also have the return of our new favourite game, 1 Minute Theatre Thoughts, and Ali also performs one of her songs from Not Today just for the podcast. Don't forget, you can find all our episode information on our dedicated podcast site. Follow the link in this episode's description or follow us on Instagram at Theatre Thoughts AUS, as well as our YouTube channel. So get ready to once again switch on those thoughts and delve into the world of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. Welcome to a new episode of Theatre Thoughts Podcast. We have a first day. We have our first guest in studio, which I'm very, very excited about. We have a skilled actor, writer, musician and producer who graduated from NIDA's Screen Acting Studio in 2014 and the Actors Centre Australia in 2017. She has produced and starred in her own short film, Her Own Music, which premiered at the 2020 Sydney Film Festival and the Outfest LA in 2020. Her music has appeared on Triple J Unearthed and has independently released singles as well as written for television with 2 TV series in development, and they're currently performing their show Not Today for the Sydney Fringe Festival. Please welcome Ali Morgan.
Hello.
It's so great to have you actually, and I can actually see you and talk to you. This is so surreal.
You're a real person.
I know. I'm so used to everything via Zoom.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming in. So we're going to hear you perform some of your songs, which I'm very excited about.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And you're performing, so Not Today, at the Fringe Festival for Sydney. So we'll get to that in a sec.
Okay.
But let's hear about you, because you're relatively new in my sphere. I've kind of seen your images pop up when the Sydney Fringe was coming around. I was like, that looks interesting. And like I was saying before, our reviewer came to see it the other night. She loved it. So just tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Sydney, so I've been bopping around here my whole life. Should probably leave at some point. But that's another story. So yeah, I grew up always performing and left high school and was like, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
And then did the whole acting school thing and then was like, wow, I really don't love all of these roles, or like just like wasn't anything that I was like, yes, I'm so excited to play this. Also, so hard for anyone to even see me for auditions. I was like,
Right.
it was just so hard to like try to knock on doors and
Yeah.
like, you know. So I was like, all right, well, okay. I kind of did the maths and I traced it back. I was like, well, if the actor is at the end of the like process,
Oh, okay.
who is at the start? And I was like, oh, the writer. Okay, so like no one has any
right.
work unless the writer is there. And so then I was like, oh, well, actors know how to write. Like we interpret scripts. That's literally our job. So I was like, I should be able to write some scripts. And so from there, I just started writing and making my own work and like making short films with people I went to acting school with, and they went really well. And I was always a songwriter as a kid, and then I picked up that as well after drama school. It's funny, like as soon as I let go of the idea of having to be an actor, like one thing, just all of my passions kind of found a way to all work together. So it's kind of ended me up here, making one-woman shows with songs and writing them and acting in them, and yeah,
That's
just a whole
awesome.
bunch of fun.
It's so funny, isn't it, when you trace everything back and you go, like, because I kind of did the same thing. I did the whole acting school and I was going to be a big actor.
Yeah.
I did like my Foxtel commercial, which was my big break.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get any money as an actor. What am I going to do instead?
Yeah.
So then it leads you on different paths, and it's crazy to see,
Totally.
you know, where things take you.
Yeah, and like it's not like I think I also had that mentality of if I do anything else, then it'll take away from my acting. But actually, everything just enriches my acting, or you know, it's always there. I can always come back to it, you know. And so, yeah, it's been really empowering just embracing all the multidisciplinary things.
I think that's one word that our tutors love to instill in us. Multidisciplinary.
Multidisciplinary artist. Yeah, and it's so easy to say. I love that word. Anyway.
It's a good tongue twister to warm you up on, isn't it?
Exactly. Multidisciplinary. Anyway, I won't bore you with my tongue twisters now. But I know so many because I went to drama school.
Oh my God. I might have to
don't
pop
wanna
that on
brag,
my
but-
my game list later. I love hearing everyone's stories when it comes
Yeah.
to people on the podcast, because everyone kind of, and a lot of performers, they kind of follow the same route, which I like. But then it's after that acting school part where they diverge.
Yeah, totally.
And then it's, where do they go? Do they go overseas? Do they go to London? Do they do Disney parks, cruises? Do they go down to Melbourne? Do they continue training? So we've kind of touched on that for you, but you ended up in Melbourne during the 2020 lockdown and 2021 lockdown, was it?
No, I was in Sydney.
Oh, you were in Sydney. Okay.
But I went to Melbourne for the show.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where you got Melbourne.
That might have been where I got mixed up. But you were in lockdown when you wrote Not Today, is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was writing Not Today, though. I was writing songs,
Right.
so I didn't realize what that would become.
Okay.
But yeah, I was basically just feeling a whole bunch of anxiety, and I started writing songs to get my anxiety out of my brain. And then it wasn't until Miranda Middleton, the director of Not Today, was like, have you ever thought about writing a one-woman show? That I was like, oh, that totally makes sense. And then I kind of retrofitted the songs to fit the narrative. Although they naturally do have, they unfold in the order that I wrote them.
Oh, okay.
Ironically.
Yeah.
Because they kind of track my mental health process in that time. So yeah,
It's a weird time, wasn't it?
very weird.
Yeah, very strange. I remember I was living in Wollongong at the time, and it was actually quite good in a way because I could like walk to the beach, and I was like, oh, perfect, amazing.
So nice.
But it was, and I always think back on it, it was like such a weird time.
It was so weird. It was also weirdly like the most creative I've ever been, I think, because I was forced to just like entertain myself.
Yeah.
And also like I was doing it with no actual like outcome in mind. I was just doing it to have fun, be happy, stay present. And so it's kind of ironic that that worked. That was actually a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, mindfulness works. Whoa. What?
And I think that's actually, on that point, that was probably like, ironically, the healthiest I've been in my mental health.
I know, me too.
Because I had to. I had to focus on it, you know.
Totally.
It was like everyone was saying, you have to focus on your mental health during this time. Because I lived alone as well.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was like really focusing on my mental health. And then ever since then, like, it's kind of spiraled a bit because we're back to normal and you don't
Totally.
have time to focus on my mental health.
Yep. I feel that.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird. I was also like I've always been like, I want to become a yogi. Like, I've always loved yoga. I did so much yoga.
So did I.
I was so
Did
zen.
you have a YouTube that you followed?
Yeah, yoga
Who'd
with
you follow?
Adrian.
With Adrian, no, I had, I don't know if her name was Ali. Something's telling me her name was Ali, but it was yoga with some American woman.
It has to be Adrian.
Might have been Adrian. I don't know. Was it like 30 days of yoga?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's Adrian.
That's Adrian.
All the yoga with Adrian fans are going to be like, yes.
So I did that.
Yeah, she's the best. Isn't she so nice?
Yeah.
I feel like she's my best friend. I have never met her.
It was such a nice way to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and she's so funny. She's like, whenever she has like innuendo in her stretches,
Yeah.
she's like, ayo. Like all that stuff. I'm like, yes, I live for it. Yeah, she was good.
But and the main message I want to take out of this is everyone, please take care of your mental health. It's very important.
Indeed.
I'm a big advocate for it. But on the note of where the songs came from, they're very much focused on climate change. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming you're a big advocate on climate change. There's a lot going on in the zeitgeist in the world and our discussions on climate change, which is great that we're focusing on that.
Totally, yeah.
The Triple J podcast has dropped, Who's Going to Save Us,
Oh,
which focuses
I
on
didn't know
climate
that.
change.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's very good. I hear like little snippets because I've ironically during lockdown I just became a Triple J person. I don't know why, but I did.
Good time?
Yeah,
For it? Might as well.
It was great.
That's good.
But where did this idea come from for you?
Well, I mean, I've always where did the activism come from?
Yeah, and the kind of climate change. So obviously, there's so much in the world that we can pinpoint our concerns for. Why did climate change come to the forefront for you?
Well, I think it was honestly, I've always been kind of nervous about it. I think ever since I remember having a massive epiphany in 2016, being like, wait, that this is like a real thing, because especially in Australia, we were debating whether or not it was real for way too and still are, to be honest, and for way too long. And so when my little 16-year-old brain was like, this is for realsies? I was like, holy shit, why are we not more concerned?
Yeah.
This is like an existential, this is bad.
Yeah.
And so I've always been like, we're going to talk about this at some point, right? And then I just thought it was really weird that no one was, not at least in the mainstream, no one was talking about it. If we're going to tackle it, we're going to have to put our heads together as a big community. So I was like, surely we got to get this a cooking, get this conversation a rolling. But I kind of realized that I think that everyone's really anxious about talking about it.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it?
Some people think that they can't talk about it unless they know everything about it, or what can they offer to the conversation? But I think it's really helpful because no one at all was talking about it. I started feeling like I was crazy. I was like, am I too concerned?
Yeah.
Am I becoming irrational or paranoid? I don't know how to gauge how freaked out I should be. And then I would talk to my parents and I'd be like my mum, love her. Oh, God, she's going to listen to this. But I was like, Mum, I just listened to Greta Thunberg's podcast on climate change and I'm freaked out. And instead of Mum being like, yeah, climate change is a real issue and that sucks, she was like, well, why are you listening to the podcast then, Ali? You're just going to make yourself feel more anxious. And I was like, wait, you're telling me that in order to cure my anxiety, I just have to pretend like this isn't happening? And I was like, there must be a better way to talk about this. And so I basically was like, I think the main way to make climate action happen is to just get comfortable with talking about the uncomfortable subject that it exists.
Yeah.
And not even try and fix it, but just get through the first hurdle of just bringing it up.
Yeah.
And so and not in a doom and gloom, we're all going to die. You can have nuance to the conversation, which is how do you feel about it? No, well, that's a bad example.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was just like, if I can be, when I finally started writing the script, I was like, for Not Today, I was like, well, if I can be the person who helps people who are struggling to articulate their anxieties, if this gives them the words that they were looking for,
High Five Casino.
High Five Casino is a social casino with real prizes and big Vegas hits at highfivecasino.com. The hottest games right from Vegas, and all winnings go straight to your bank account. Hundreds of exclusive games, free daily rewards, and come back to get free coins every 4 hours. Only at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details at high5casino.com.
High Five Casino.
The following is a high five moment from highfivecasino.com.
Welcome to Burger Yippee. Would you like a hot apple pie today?
Yes, yeah, I won! Woohoo!
So that's a yes on the apple pie?
I just went big time playing High Five Casino on my phone. Real cash prizes, free daily rewards, over 1,200 games. Yeah!
So yes or no on the apple pie?
Whoa! I won again!
I'll take that as a yes. Drive around.
Have you had your high five moment today? Only at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
High Five Casino.
Through this script and through this play, then that will have been worth it.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I think it's hard to just articulate sometimes.
It is, and I feel like it was something you said about like back in 2016 when you didn't even think about it. When I think about climate change and it's like revolution in terms of like my sphere of the world, like it started as global warming. Well, no, actually before that it was like, that hole in the ozone layer is getting quite big. And then like, what does that even mean?
Yes.
And then it was global warming, and then it was like made popular in film with like The Day After Tomorrow. I was like,
Oh my
is that
God,
global warming?
That's always what I think about when I think about global. I'm always like, Ellie, you don't even live in New York. Like, that's not what it's going to be like. I mean, it might be. Anyway,
Never
yeah,
know.
but yeah, I
But
know.
it scared the hell out of me.
I know. That's
And then it shifted into like everyone going, things aren't getting warmer, they're getting colder. Where's this global warming? And then it shifted into climate change. And now it is at the forefront of a lot of people's conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think you're right that it is hard to talk about because, I mean, when I bring it up, I go, what can I do, when China's pumping out this and America's doing that? Like, I'm just one man, so why even bother? So I feel like that's the hurdle that you need to get over is how do I word it? Like the care or like the, what's the point?
Just like dare to like think. Yeah, dare to care maybe a little. Like it
dare
does.
to care. I like
it does feel like you have to take a risk in caring because you kind of have to bet on the fact that we might be all right. And that's actually hard to do. To be hopeful is actually really hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to be, like daringly hopeful about it all, and like optimistic about the impact I can make. Although I'm not an advocate for making you carry all the guilt of like everything ever. So like. To be honest, I cannot buy single-use plastic, or Coca-Cola can just stop making single-use plastic. Like, I think that companies have, I'm on my soapbox here, but I do think that companies have like made, it was quite popular about like individual choice. Like your dollar you vote with your dollar. And I'm like, that's all well and good if you have the privilege to spend dollars on like maybe more like harder to access like slightly more eco-friendly choices, but a lot of people don't have access to those choices. So true. You're kind of equating like people with less money who can't afford to make like eco-conscious choices. You're making them seem evil, and they're not. So that whole thing. So why did I start talking about that? Basically, you can make a difference as an individual, but I think it's all about rallying together.
It is, yeah. And I think it's about like, this is turning into a whole climate change discussion. It's great. No,
totally is.
It's great.
I know. I walk into a room and I'm like, sorry,
like,
I have a show. Yeah, here I go.
No, but I think it is. And it is about like caring and wanting to bring up that conversation and at least talk about it because it is concerning. And I think like even in just the world, I think, like my parents and so on, like the massive effects are only starting to hit. And it's like towards like the later parts of their life.
I know. I think about that too.
Yeah.
I'm
and
like,
it's like, will I be when I'm their age? Like, will it be better? Will it be worse? And then I always see those memes pop up. And it's like, what's the worst thing that can come out of working towards bettering climate change? Like a healthier, greener world? Like, sorry, we got it wrong. You know? And I'm like, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, not at all a bad idea. A very good idea.
Yeah.
In fact.
Well, let's diverge from climate change and come back. This is a Theatre Thoughts podcast. To the theatre. Running a small business? Are you promoting a new show or running a theatre space? Maybe you're looking for an area to reach potential new clients. why not advertise with us on the Theatre Thoughts podcast? We have a range of packages and prices for you to put your ad right here on the podcast. For more information, contact us at theatrethoughtsteam@outlook.com or by heading to our website, theatrethoughtsaus.online. So could you tell me the story of when Miranda came in and said, Ali, I like this, I want to change it into a show?
Yeah, so Miranda is such an angel on the planet, literally, just walking around, being amazing. She directed a music video for one of the songs that is now in Not Today. And she was the one who kind of just pointed out, you know when you're not aware of what you do as an artist? And she was like, did you know that your lyrics are kind of like mini little stories? And they're quite like confessional, almost like you're directly addressing someone, kind of like a monologue. And I was like, wow, that is super cool. And then she was like, yeah, have you considered putting it into a show? And so I kind of just went away and stewed on that and started looking at the threads and how it could all work together. And then I came back and I was like, I remember I booked a coffee with her where I was like, Miranda, I do want to write a one-woman show. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And the thing about Miranda is that as soon as you say you're going to do something, it's happening. Like, she's such a go-getter. So it was happening. And it was great because I have a tendency to be like, I have so many brilliant ideas and I will never make any of them because they'll be perfect in my head. And if I try and make them, they won't be perfect. So she like forced me to just make the thing. And she scheduled regular check-ins with me for my writing. And I just really wanted to show up, even no matter how crap my writing was. And it was really good because then I learned that writing is actually about drafts, doing multiple drafts. Yes. It doesn't have to be perfect the first go. Yeah. So that was a good little lesson to learn. And and then so we just kept like, I would write it, then when I'd bring it to her and she would just basically be like, yeah, that's great, keep going. And it was honestly amazing because it's so rare to find someone who's in your corner like that. Yeah. Like I often think like artists need coaches in the same way that athletes do.
Oh, I love that. Say it again. Say it again.
Artists need coaches. Yeah. She was like that. She was like the person, who was like standing on the side, handing me water, being like, "You're doing great."
That's so good. I think I 100% agree with that because it's so hard in the theatre industry to do something yourself because everyone's trying to do something.
Yeah, totally.
There's so many people trying to make their own thing and slice, cut out their own slice of the industry. Like I even think about that most days with like Theatre Thoughts in the podcast. I go like, oh, it's just me. And then like when you kind of reach out to other people and they go, oh, this is great. Like you're doing well. Like it goes, oh, okay, cool. Keep going.
Yeah, literally. You get a new guest on. You're like, wow, you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Yay. And you're like, this is a thing we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have plenty of guests. That wasn't a dig.
No. But I think just that reminder that, you're doing well, keep going. I think it's great.
Totally.
Because I remember we talked to Eve Blake about some of the things that she does.
Oh my gosh, she is so cool.
Oh, she's amazing, isn't she? Incredible.
Literally an inspiration.
Yeah, to so many people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she realises it. She's very humble.
Yeah, I don't think she does.
No. But she was talking about the traps, she said, that she sets herself. And I was shocked at some of them.
What are they?
Well, she said one app that she uses. I can't remember the name of it. But she talks about an app that she uses where if she doesn't write within a certain amount of time, everything she does gets deleted. So she'll just write. And then if she like has any breaks or anything or like is on her phone and she runs out of time, it's gone. So it's like, get it done now.
Oh, wow. Okay, of course Eve Blake is being that hardcore out there. Okay, wow. I didn't realize that was the part. Okay.
But like, that's like one thing, I guess, if you're like a solo person.
If it works for her brain, that work. I could not. I'm way too anxious. It would just, I'd go into paralysis and be like, can't write, too scared.
Excellent.
Although that sounds very productive.
Wow. It does.
I should do that if I can.
But it seems to be working well. Like you and Miranda have like made this show. There's now at the Fringe. Now it wasn't premiered at the Fringe. It was at TheatreWorks, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was part of Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Beautiful.
So yeah. Well, we did like a very small. We kind of called it a preview season. Which, like a very like early iteration of the show at KXT, King's Cross Theatre, and that was only on for 4 nights. And it was like the first draft of the script that we just whacked on stage. And, the first like fully complete draft. Been through a lot of iterations, but anyway, yeah. And then we finally debuted the show, at Melbourne Comedy Festival, which was so cool because I didn't think that I was a comedian, and then now I am.
There you go.
Because I've done a comedy festival, so
tick that off on the CV.
But it was actually so cool because people really engage with Melbourne Comedy Festival. So people would come who just saw me on the lineup of comedians that day, and then they were awesome and they were really excited to laugh. Yeah. Like, I think that's the difference maybe between theatre audiences and like audiences for stand-up.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I only went to the Comedy Festival first time this year, and now I want to make it a yearly thing.
It's so fun.
Loved it. I found it fascinating.
Yeah.
So fascinating. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, and
it's
like,
so cool.
I guess it suits Melbourne because it is so, like, it's built for theatres.
Definitely.
Whereas Sydney's, like, it is built for theatres, but it is so spread out.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes it a little bit harder. Like, you have to make a night of it. Whereas, there, you could just wander into the city and just, I'll go here. Oh, maybe I'll go there.
Yeah. Hop on a tram, go home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool. I
loved it.
And it really feels like the city comes out to celebrate it.
That's what I felt. It felt really alive, which was good, especially after, like, the lockdown that it had.
Totally. And seeing the way those comedians write so efficiently, like they've got 1 hour and they're going to cram in as many jokes as they can, and it's so well written.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, my mind was blown. Yeah.
Did you feel like, I don't know, how do I word this? Did you feel like you weren't ready for it, or did you feel like this was where I should be right now?
It definitely, I felt kind of like I wasn't ready, but in a nice way. It was like, whoa, I did not expect to be here. But yeah, I felt like I'd found my community.
Okay.
Because it's like I like to toe the line. Like, my show isn't really a comedy stand-up show at all. So it kind of didn't really suit the comedy festival, but then people liked it because it was like had that point of difference compared to the festival. But also, just like being amongst these creatives who just churn out new shows every year, that was really inspiring to see like how fast they worked and how quick their wits are, and just got me really inspired to just feel a bit more free in my shows and embrace improvising, or like embrace just like riffing with the audiences and things. Because my show has audience participation, so it made me feel like, okay, I don't have to be scared of this. Yeah. This is really fun. I get to chat.
It's so funny. I have such a love-hate thing with audience participation because I love seeing it, but I hate being the one they pick on.
Everyone says that. Everyone is always like, the minute, like, my friends who are coming to the show who I know and talk to daily, I'm like, can you sit in the front and, like, I could do the audience participation bit with you if you wanted. And they were like, no. I'm like, it would just be, I would literally just chat to you like I do all the time. Yeah. But yeah, no, I actually hate it too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
funny.
Don't tell me, like, don't make me, because I'm like, I worry that I have to be good.
That's what I think. It happened to me at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Somebody pulled me up and I was like, all right, I've got to be good. I'm on stage now. And it's like, I'm the star. So yeah, it is. I think that maybe it's an active thing.
I think when I do it now, I try really hard to make the audience member feel like it's not a test at all. And it can totally flop.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the funniest when it flops.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What else did I have for you? I was asking about that. And then, that's what I wanted to ask. Because the bio for your show mentioned like the song stylings that were quite similar to yours. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask where your inspirations for your styling sort of came from.
My songwriting style?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Like lots of different places. So I've always been a really big fan of like Australian comedy songwriters. Like I really love Tim Minchin and
who doesn't? I love that guy so much. I'm gonna start next year. I'm doing a campaign to get him on the podcast. I'm gonna do one of those,
God.
like day one of asking Tim Minchin. So if I can get him on, I think I can retire.
Oh my gosh, can I join for the session? And I won't even speak. I'll just sit in the corner. So I love him, and I also really love Kate Miller-Heidke. So she wrote Muriel's Wedding, the musical, and like obviously is an amazing.
Oh, did she write that?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she's an amazing singer-songwriter, and if you listen to her lyrics, like she doesn't always write comedy songs, but her lyrics are really sharp and like witty. So she kind of, in the same way, like treads the line of comedy, and sometimes she just straight up writes comedy songs. Like she has this one great comedy song about this person who she hated, who was her ex, who added her on Facebook, and she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like that's what the whole song is about. But it's like hilarious. She's like, "I don't want you poking me again." Get it? Because you poke on Facebook. Anyway.
For everyone, for all the like Gen Z, you used to be able to poke someone.
Yeah, that was written in the early 2000s. So,
oh, remember those pokes? They were the worst.
I know, you just like repeatedly poke each other. It was so weird.
Especially like your crushes where you just like send you a poke. It was the worst.
You'd be like, oh my God,
you didn't poke me.
Do I poke them back?
Or the MSN knock screen when somebody wasn't there.
Whoa, you just unlocked
I know.
a part of my memory. Wow. Yeah, so I loved them. And then I also really love folk, like indie folk music. So I love Phoebe Bridgers. She's like, do you know her? She's like killing it in America right now.
I don't. Oh, I thought you. Sorry, for a
Phoebe
second.
Waller-Bridge.
That's who I thought you said, and I was about
also
to. Also
love Phoebe Waller-Bridge though.
Yeah, I can talk
she's
for days
amazing.
about her. But no, I don't know Phoebe Bridge all that well.
Yeah, Phoebe Bridgers. She's really cool. She's like, she does a lot of folk rock, and her lyrics are quite similar in. Well, I love her style of lyric writing because she's quite a kind of like stream of consciousness, confessional kind of style, in the same way that Tim Minchin writes very honest lyrics, like very frank and straight up. And because of that, they're like funny. So yeah, I love that sort of style. And I also just love like Julia Jacqueline, Courtney Barnett, like other Australian, Missy Higgins even, like Paul Kelly, just like folk, what's the other word? Indie folk? Yeah, that kind of vibe. So that's why I play a lot of guitar and in my show as well as piano, because I kind of like mix it up. Do a bit of Minchin, do a bit of Missy Higgins. Why not?
Why not?
So yeah, that's where I kind of end up.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, did you want to play the Theatre
Oh my
Thoughts
gosh.
game?
Yes.
Okay. Right. It's called 1 Minute Theatre Thoughts.
Okay.
And now it's 1 Minute Theatre Thoughts with Ali Morgan. So I will set the timer for 1 minute, and you have 1 minute to answer all my questions on my page.
I love it.
If you get to the end, that's awesome.
Great.
If not, don't stress.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Just answer first thing that comes off the top of your head.
Okay.
Here we go. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my gosh, I really love Burn by Usher.
Oh my God.
That's embarrassing.
Who is your favourite artist?
Artist? Phoebe Bridgers, yeah.
Nice.
That's fine. I just love her. I'm obsessed.
What is the best concert you've ever been to?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Oh, Kate Miller-Heidke. I'm just saying all the same stuff. But yeah, Kate Miller-Heidke, she's amazing.
What is your go-to comfort TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, excellent. I haven't watched
It's
any
recent.
seasons.
That's recent, actually. I've been binging the seasons since last year.
What artist inspires you?
Okay, let's go with, I'm going to say Phoebe Waller-Bridge, because she's an actor, writer, hybrid, showrunner, amazing, extraordinaire person.
Love her so much. And, last one. Do you have a favourite musical?
Sure, yes. Oh, I love Six. That's on right now.
Nice. That's 1 minute.
Yay!
And you answered all the questions.
Oh my gosh. Ding, ding, ding. 10
Love
points.
it.
I'm assigning myself 10 points.
I need I'm going to have to buy a trophy of some sort. Be like, you won.
You need to have a...
I might add that in post-credit.
Please do.
I'll say, this is credited by Ali Morgan. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Ali. So
Thank you. That was so much fun.
Oh, no, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for being our first one in studio.
Yes. Wow. Crowd goes wild.
It's amazing. It's so cool.
nice
I feel
meeting
like
you.
it's easier to go off track, but it's also beautiful to go off track.
Yeah,
So, because you kind of get it's less formal, I guess, when it's via, more formal, when it's via Zoom.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love listening to podcasts where they go off on tangents and you're like, yes, take me
Just
with
do
you.
it. Well, excellent. Well, Not Today is on at the Sydney Seymour Centre, and then you start, is it 2 shows at the Riverside?
Yeah, we do 2 shows.
Yeah, from the 23rd at Riverside Theatres in Parramatta. Beautiful theatre. Get out there to go see it.
It is a beautiful theatre.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, we'll hear some of your music now, which I'm very excited for. And then all the best with the rest of your shows.
Thank you so much.
A massive thank you to Robbie James at Rogue Projects for helping to organise today's episode. Thanks to Ali Morgan for joining us on the podcast. You can find out more about Ali by following her on Instagram at Ali K. Morgan. This episode was produced by Echidna Audio. Follow them at Echidna Audio on Instagram. Tickets for the performances of Not Today at Riverside Theatre Parramatta from the 23rd to the 24th of September can be booked at riversideparramatta.com.au. Now, please enjoy Ali performing one of the songs from her hit show titled Traffic.
If I die today, please don't let me die in traffic. Trying to find my way to you, 'cause then I'd never have made it, and you would be waiting, and you wouldn't know it, but I would be fading, and I wouldn't have told you that I loved you, and you would have felt it, 'cause I would have meant it. So if I die today, please don't let me die in traffic. And if I die today, please don't let me die at the airport. Trying to find my way to you, 'cause it's been 6 months now since I felt you around, 'cause you were off getting famous, and I've been waiting for ages just to save enough money to come see you, honey, and feel your skin. 'Cause not having you around somehow feels like I'm drowning, whilst being thirsty at the same time. So if I die today, please don't let me die at the airport. If I die today, please just let me die in your arms. Having just made love and kissed you sweetly on both eyes, and I would go quickly and softly, yeah, it would be easy. Now I won't put up a fight, see, 'cause I would have told you that I loved you, and you would say, babe, I love you too. I swear it's true, and he would hold me tight and kiss me goodnight. So if I had to go away, yeah, if I had to die today, and I had any say, let it be this way, and I won't even make you wait. Ooh, just let me get there. Ooh, just let me get there, 'cause I can't die in traffic.
Woo! That's it for another episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. If you have a production you're wanting to promote, have a thought on theatre you wish to highlight, or feel like you can bring diverse and insightful conversation to the podcast, why not come on as a Theatre Thoughts co-host? We're looking for new and exciting people to come and feature in future podcasts and talk with our amazing guests. Contact our team now at theatrethoughtsteam@outlook.com or by hitting us up on our socials. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time here on the Theatre Thoughts podcast.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
The following is a high five moment from highfivecasino.com.
I won! Yahoo! Private, put down your phone. This is the Army.
Sarge, High Five Casino is a social casino. It's on your phone, goes wherever you go. I win free spins, cash, prizes, free daily rewards, over 1,200 games. I won again!
Platoon, present cell phone. High five.
High five.
Casino.
Casino.
Win at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
High Five Casino.